SpongeBob SquarePants is a beloved cartoon by many, but did you know that there was a really dark episode? Hello everyone, it's Jay, and today I want to talk about an episode of SpongeBob that aired but was really disturbing, known as Red Mist. So if you happen to like my content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think, and let's get into it. In the 2000s, SpongeBob gained a worldwide success, probably due to the fact that Nickelodeon would air each episode until there was brain rot. And hell, they even do this to this day because SpongeBob has made Nickelodeon so much damn money. But did you know that there was an episode so dark and sinister that it was actually pulled from the air? This episode would be Squidward unaliving himself, and I really can't say the other word due to YouTube's community guidelines. This episode was supposedly so horrific that it had been pulled from the audience because it was just really gruesome in content. There's been so many theories around this one episode that it really led to people asking, was it a real occurrence and was it actually pulled from air? There's been numerous spawns of SpongeBob, so much so that even in the beginning of its conception, it was theorized that it was more for adults. The show gained so much popularity that it even had AI generated episodes on YouTube, but these episodes would have their own controversy of being pro-Hitler, which is pretty terrible. Out of all these spawns, one episode to hit the internet in the 2010s that was so damning for the audience was known as Red Mist, or otherwise known as Squidward unaliving himself. Now, I do have to note that I was online in the 2010s quite a bit, and the original episode has since disappeared, but I did find two uploads that are similar to what I remember watching whenever I was a teenager in the 2010s. One creator on YouTube that goes by SpongeBob Last Episodes has done what looks like a re-upload, or at least a reenactment of that disturbing episode. And the reason why I say a reenactment is because I do remember the video being way more disturbing and shoddy glitch effects. But then while doing my research on this topic, I did come across the original video under Internet Archive, which does provide what was originally out there in the 2010s. Links to these two videos will be down below in the description. So what makes this episode so disturbing that it was pulled from the air? The episode starts with Squidward practicing his clarinet for a concert and is interrupted by SpongeBob. The beginning of this episode is actually a real episode, which we'll get more into later on in the video. But as the episode progresses, it seems more of like a disturbing depiction of the events that unfold on it. Squidward performs that night of his practice and is quickly booed off of stage because he was never that great of a musical talent anyways. Now, watching this back, it does showcase the crowd having bloodshot eyes, and the video actually cut up quite a bit. This is just due to make it more of a creepy factor. Let me tell you that watching this in my teens did actually creep me the hell out, but that's also because I was a major SpongeBob fan. The episode then cuts to Squidward sitting on his bed looking depressed, and for an eerie 30 seconds we get white noise in the background. From there it cuts to Squidward crying on his bed with some shoddy glitch effects, and whenever I say Squidward was crying, he was literally crying blood. This whole experience starts to give you an uneasy feeling, and the episode cuts yet again to more disturbing images, but now there's a twist of eerie background noises that eventually tell Squidward to do it, which means to unalive himself. From there we get a depiction of Squidward ending it with a tool, and it's just very gruesome, so much so that I can't really show it on YouTube due to their community guidelines. But nonetheless, it is still very creepy to watch. And I do have to note that some of the work on this episode is clearly fan made, and there's so many cuts that it is not clear if this did air or not and it was pulled. Behind this creepy episode, there was something even more dark and sinister, that being images flashed on screen that were no longer than a split second, depicting children who were brutally harmed by what is described as a serial killer photographer. It's so disturbing. The whole thing just gives me the freaking creeps, dude. Like, it's awful. How did this episode come about on the internet in the 2010s? And how was it discovered that this truly did air? Well, Well, around this time, creepypasta was a favorite amongst people trying to get edgy stories of supernatural experiences. From SCP to Slender Man, people would post these interesting stories which in return had videos uploaded to them to give it more of a real life experience that these events truly did take place. And hell, who's to say that they didn't? SCP, we don't know. We really don't know. Squidward himself was posted to creepypasta around this time period as well, and a supposed intern of Nickelodeon describes what they saw from the episode before it was to air and had claimed that it really wasn't going to be disturbing and that the true episode was fear of the Krabby Patty. Which brings me back to the beginning of my video that this was a real episode, but it wasn't as disturbing as what we know this episode to be as, Red Mist. When this episode was shown to a group of interns at Nick Studios, it was so disturbing that it had an internal investigation put on it, but they really couldn't come up with an explanation as to how it was conceptualized. And whenever doing my research on this video online, it is suggested or basically hinting at that this was some freak paranormal occurrence. All of the disturbing, gruesome imagery that you would see in the episode was overlaid over the original episode due to the title being Squidward himself. What makes the story so damn compelling and believable is how the intern describes each event. The audience who is reading the narrative can imagine everything the intern saw before the episode was to air, which makes for a great freaking plot. So with this video coming to an end, that leaves us with the last question. Did this episode actually air? From multiple sources on the web, this was just a fan-made project and it really did not occur, which I mean, I really hope not, because it's just freaking disturbing, dude. It is just awful. But to others, it did actually occur and it did actually air. Some claiming on Reddit, yeah, of course Reddit of all things, that they can view it today, and this was basically like 6 months back that they were saying this. Who's to say that it really did air and it didn't air? I'm thinking maybe it did air, but it wasn't as gruesome as what is on the internet. So what do you think about this episode? Do you believe that this episode actually aired? And does it actually make you feel uneasy like I do? See, with this popping off in the era of creepypastas becoming so damn popular, it does make for a truly believable narrative. And let me tell you that I am still creeped out to this day about this occurrence because it just feels so random that it really did happen at a paranormal state. With that being said, guys, this will be the end of my video. If you happen to like my content, like I said in the beginning, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think, and stay ready, people. I'm out.